Hello fellow gamers, TFA Gaming here and welcome to Gran Turismo 7. Today we are racing in Daily Race B at Interlagos. For this race I chose the Genesis. I think it's a really well balanced car, and for this race I think the only bad choice was the Alfa, just because it doesn't have the best top speed, which you do need on this track. The Nissan GTR and the Aston Martin were probably the best choices because they had the best top speed, but I really like the Genesis. So starting here, the Alfa in front immediately going defensive. I tried to hang it around the outside, but the Italian runs me out wide. I tried to keep my nose in, we made a bit of contact, and then I went off the track and cut the corner, getting my first penalty. I think that's a world record for the fastest ever penalty. First corner, well second I suppose, and a penalty. But never mind, it's a 5-lap race and we can still finish well. Now turn 4 here is where you had to be really careful on exit, as if you went over the white lines, you would get a penalty. But this seemed to be the only corner where the track limits were really aggressive. As you can see here at turn 7, other than touching the grass, I couldn't be more off track and I don't get a penalty. Coming through turns 8 and 9, I manage a nice little switcheroo on the Alfa and I'm up into 4th place. Now I know I have a penalty, so I'm not expecting to keep this place by the end of the lap, but it's always good to take the opportunities when you get them. Just serving my penalty here, and as I expected, the Alfa comes back and goes back up into 4th place. So starting lap 2, just into the braking zone here in turn 1, I just sort of go into the back of the Italian. It was my fault, they were just in the middle of the track. Now obviously they can be, they're the car ahead. I just assumed they would choose an inside defensive line and I could have had the space, but they didn't. So I slow down just to make sure I don't go past, as that wouldn't be fair. I expected the Italian to defend the inside here, but they don't. Maybe they just wanted me out of the way, up the inside and back into 4th place for a British 1, 2, 3, 4. Us Brits really representing here at Interlagos. So now we're halfway through lap 2. I've only gained 1 place, and in this 5-lap race there's not much time to catch up, so I've got some work to do. Skipping forward to the start of lap 4, I've just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:41.034, and I've caught right up to the battle for the lead. The cars in front, almost 3 wide coming into turn 1, and now it's a 4-way battle for the lead. Coming into turn 3, I brake just slightly late in the Lambo in front and I hit him. My second crash of the race. The Brit then clips the Citroen in front and they both go wide. Now I probably should have backed out and let them back through, but I didn't. And to be honest, I was half expecting to see a Lamborghini ram right through me in the next corner, but fair play, they didn't. Then at the next right-hander, I had a bit of a run. I half expected the Citroen to take a wide line, but they didn't. And again, we made a little bit of contact. I did back out of this one slightly, but now I had the inside for turn 7 and I'm up into 2nd place. Not my finest driving, I'll be honest. I do try my best to race with as little contact as possible. And now I think I've had 4 lots, but that happens sometimes. So now I'm off to chase down the leader. I've got 1 lap left, and I know I'm the fastest car on track right now. Starting the final lap, the GTR goes wide into turn 1, and I thought this was my chance, but I'm really not able to capitalise on this. GTR is really quick down the straights, and they pull away from me down into turn 4. Now I've been able to stay with my fellow Brit in front, and we've got to the part of the track where my car has the advantage. But they did a really good job in front and gave me no real opportunity to go for a move. I'm super close here, and I really feel like if I had another lap, I could get past this guy. So coming into the last few corners, I'm really close to the car in front. I'm just going to pause it here. Now, be honest with me, and I'll be honest with you. How many of you in this situation would just send the inside and punt them off for the win? Because I definitely considered it.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts.
Now, obviously, I didn't punt them off, as I wanted to be a fair racer, but man, it was tempting. So as we come up the hill for the last time, it's 2nd place in this race. Started 5th, finished 2nd. I think that's pretty good. Just before I show you race 2 here, just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying these videos, please consider liking and subscribing. It's free and it really helps me out. Thanks. So for race 2, I went back into the lab and set a better qualifying time. I was spurred on by the fact in the first race I set the fastest lap, so I knew I had the ability to put in a good lap, and I managed to put it on pole.
P1 confirmed. Good job.
No way.
P1 baby. Let's enjoy it. Oh shit.
5 laps with a car and track I really like driving. This should be my best opportunity to get a win today. Starting off here, I go a little bit deep into turn 1, so I don't get the best angle into 2, which compromises my straight line speed a little bit. And with the faster Aston behind, it's not the start I wanted. Now I would have to go defensive into turn 4. The Genesis was definitely not the fastest down the straight. The Aston Martin and the GTR definitely have the advantage, but it was a good car through the infield sections, which meant I managed to keep the Aston Martin behind. End of lap 1, just doing enough to stay ahead. I didn't feel the need to go defensive into turn 1, and this is my best lap in this race. I found braking just at the 75 board worked well for turn 1 to get the car stopped. Roll through, and then maximise the inside curb on exit, and try and straighten the exit as much as possible. Down into turn 4, braking just about 75 metres out, and make sure you don't run wide and get yourself a track limit penalty. Continuing up to the long double right-hander, the turn really opens up. Let the car roll out wide so you can clip the apex on the second part of the right-hander. Let the car roll out wide, you can pretty much use all of the curb on exit here, and even into the next right-hander, you can pretty much drive on the grass here. As long as 2 wheels on the curb, you can turn your car into a lawnmower and not get a penalty. This next set of corners for me was all about flow. You had to accelerate, brake, turn, roll the car. Actually, for the left, I didn't brake on this occasion. I just let the car roll through and then into the quite tight right-hander again, using literally all of the curb here on entry and exit. Full throttle through this left-hander, no need to brake or let off in these cars. And the final left-hander is really important as it sets you up to the final straight. You really need to get it spot on. Brake about 50 metres out, let the car roll and on the power as early as you can to maximise your straight line speed at the end. Moving forward here to lap 3, turn 4, and I make a mistake.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Typical for me to bottle it when I'm in the lead. I go wide and get myself a 0.5 second penalty. Now at this point, I do have a bit of a gap, and I know I'm coming into the part of the circuit where my car really excels, so I'm hoping that when I serve my penalty, there's a small chance I can keep the lead. But that's not the case, and as I serve my penalty, the Frenchman goes past. Really frustrating, because I know the car in front is as fast as me, so passing them is going to be really difficult. If I hadn't made such a silly mistake, there was probably no real chance for them to pass me either. But that's how it is sometimes, you just crack under a bit of pressure and make a mistake. And that's all that really happened for the rest of this race. I followed the Frenchman round the rest of the lap, ruined the mistake I made, and that the win should have been mine. And other than a pity off-track moment right at the end, just to affirm the fact that I wasn't going to win, we finish up the race here in second. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, goodbye.